What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing well, Antonio. Good to chat again. It's been a little bit.
hmm
Um,
hmm
mm. Now, Timmy, listen, we see the textbook, the 15-foot jump shot, the pump fake off the window, the drop step back in the day, just the pure fundamentals of the game. Was
hmm
there more to Tim that we didn't see? What was he like behind the scenes?
of course. I mean that's an understatement. Um, and I was blessed not just to be drafted with him, but to be friends with him from the moment that we were drafted, and then eventually end up playing together. The guy that the media sees is not Tim at all. I mean, that's the way he is. Who he is. In front of the camera, he's very reserved. Doesn't say too much, doesn't do too much. When that camera goes off, he has the biggest personality. He loves
Really?
to laugh, loves to joke, big time practical joker,
Mm-hmm.
huge sense of humor. And that's just who he is. But that's what you love about him is what you see is what you get. It's not an act. It's not I'm gonna act this way for the camera and then act some way completely different. Tim is who he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just, when as far as the media is concerned, he's very reserved and just kind of says what needs to be said and goes on about his business.
Boy, isn't that kind of what we really want? It's almost like this conflicted existence we have as sports fans. And I don't know. Tell me, you obviously played, so you're coming from a different spot. And Tiki is off today, so he probably would have had a different opinion as well, maybe more in line with yours. But I feel like somebody who didn't play professionally, like me, like we need that edge, the scowl after the dunk. We want the player who's a little unpredictable. And when I say if the league was full of Tim Duncans, it wouldn't be as popular. I'm not trying to diss him, but I believe
Oh,
in
that's
that.
reality.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying?
true.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from for lack of a better term, like America doesn't embrace what's quote unquote boring, so to speak. They love controversy. That's why reality TV is so popular. If
Mm-hmm.
the Spurs had a reality TV show, nobody will watch it because you already know what's coming. Guys are not going to be arguing. Guys are not going to be fighting. The front office is not going to be arguing. It's not going to be fighting. So that's not something that you want to see. Now, there are other teams in professional sports that if they had a reality TV show, it would sell like crazy
Yeah.
because America loves controversy. And that's just not Tim. Tim's not involved in that stuff. He doesn't care about being in the limelight. He doesn't care about having the camera on him. Like I said, he's just about his business. He does his
Mm-hmm.
business and he goes home. Plain and simple. But we as fans, we don't like that. We don't like that. We want to see we like to see people fall from grace, so to speak. So, Johnny Manziel will become very popular. He'll become very popular because he's always in the news. And, if you're about doing what's wrong or controversial,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what America seems to like for some strange reason. It's a different culture that we live in
That's
today.
as
I agree with you.
it's a sad commentary, but we're right. It's the truth. We're talking to Antonio Daniels with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. By the way, next segment we're going to get right back to these phones and get to the conversation we had with Kenny Smith. So if you're on there, sit tight. I promise. All right, I believe as as vanilla as Tim Duncan has been or was as a pro, and we put this out on our Tiki and Tierney poll. If I'm a GM, I am not hesitating. I'm taking Duncan over Kobe. I would imagine you share that thought.
Yeah. I'm not big on comparing and contrasting players, but I said yesterday, and I'll stand by these words. Tim Duncan is the best teammate in professional sports history, and I believe that. And I'm not just talking about for me as a teammate, or I'm not talking about from a friend's bias. I'm talking about for all the teammates that he has had
Mm-hmm.
that have been blessed to play with him. You think about a star of this stature that has done and sacrificed for his organization what Tim Duncan has done and sacrificed for his organization. You'll be very hard-pressed to find one. Think of a star of this stature that leaves like he left yesterday,
Yeah.
quietly, under the radar, the same way he played, but add on to that the fact that look at the position that he left the San Antonio Spurs in.
Mm-hmm.
He left them in a fantastic position because for the past 2 years, he has been taking pay cuts. He's sacrificed himself. He has been sacrificing himself for the past 19 years. And that's just not what guys do in today's NBA.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. And today's NBA where guys are about me, where guys say, I'll do anything to win a championship until it's time to do winning championship things. Tim actually doesn't just talk the talk. He walks the walk as well.
That's well said. All right, so I read this. Who knows if this really happened, but you're part of the Thunder TV crew, so you got to have a little juice behind this, little intel. I know that Westbrook had his camp, and I guess on the microphone, audible to everybody, he asked which campers are coming back next season because I'm going to be back next season. So is he going to be back next summer, or is he going to be back next season? What's going on?
Who knows? In this position right now, if you're a fan of the Thunder, you want to see him extended, obviously. That's what you want to do.
But that's not happening.
Because the last thing you want to see happen is what happened this summer. Not just with Kevin Durant, but also with Serge Ibaka. You lose two of the cornerstones of this OKC franchise, two of the cornerstones of this OKC organization. But I say this, and I say this with confidence. If there is a player in this league that I want leading my team, not just physically, but also emotionally and with passion, it is number 0. It is Russell Westbrook. The passion that he plays with on that floor is contagious. So I'm excited, in a sense. I'm very excited. I understand Kevin Durant's gone. First and foremost, you cannot replace that. You cannot replace what Kevin Durant brings. You can't. I will say that publicly. Mm-hmm. You can't replace that. But now that Kevin Durant's departure leaves an opportunity for someone else. Serge Ibaka's departure leaves an opportunity for someone else, whether it's growth, whether it's potential. But I tell you what, they got the alpha male in charge that they want leading this organization now.
Well, just to mildly contest, even though literally you're right, yes, it does open up the avenue for somebody else to jump in and prove themselves, but you cannot even remotely that sounds good. But I can't imagine Thunder fans that heard that. Antonio's right.
You can't replace that. You can't replace that.
Exactly.
It's not possible because I'm not just talking about what he does on the floor. Yeah. I'm talking about who he was in the community as well.
Yeah.
We constantly are so enamored by what guys do and the points and the rebounds and the assists. But who Kevin Durant was in that community is just as important to his presence and what he brought to that floor. So when I say you can't replace that, I mean you can't replace that. But with every negative side, there has to be a positive side somewhere in there. You have to. You can't just live in the negativity. And the positive side, outside of the fact that you cannot replace what Kevin Durant brings on the floor, off the floor, and in that locker room, there is now 48 minutes open up for the development of someone else. Not saying that guy's going to be Kevin Durant, nor should he try and be Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about a completely different dynamic and a new chapter. And a new chapter is starting over with the OKC Thunder.
Hey, man, I'm all about finding the positivity. I just don't know if I'm finding it 7 days after he bounced for goal.
Oh, for sure. It's
State.
Difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find. It's very, very difficult to find because there were two big game changers in free agency. And one of them, after winning the championship, said, you know what, I'm not going anywhere. Kevin Durant was the other one. Or you can look at Dwayne Wade as well. But these guys are game changers. So when you have a game changer that leaves your organization, that has been the mainstay, that has been the face of your organization, it's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
It is heartbreaking. I had people that were tweeting me and telling me, I feel like I just lost a family member. You have been attached to this guy from the moment that he was drafted.
I get it.
And now he's gone, moved elsewhere. It's tough to deal with.
Trust me, I'm a fan. I do a show, but I am still a fan, so I get the emotion. Antonio, good spot, man. We'll talk to you soon. Really appreciate it.
All right, for sure. Thank you, Brandon.